Hello my friends, my name is DragonHeart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will be looking at my PlayStation 4 games collection. A couple of months ago I did my PlayStation 5 games collection. That video seemed to go down quite well, so I thought I would do one for my PS4 collection as well. A quick caveat before we begin this though, there are two games in this collection that are not on view up here. That's because they're both downstairs in my PS5 collection. One of them is Tales of Arise, which is the PlayStation 4 version, but the game is upgraded to the PS5, and the game also belongs to my wife as well. And secondly, God of War as well. I'm currently playing God of War, and I'm playing it on the PS5 downstairs. There is no PS5 version for the God of War though, but that is why that game is missing from this collection. But everything else is here. So we're going to start off with this little chicken I get by here, and that is Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition. I absolutely adore this game. I have very fond memories of playing this game. I played this when it came out and loved it. I have memories of playing this over my grandparents' house. My grandfather wasn't very well and I was basically looking after him quite a lot. And quite often when I went over there, I would take my PlayStation 4 over there and connect it to the TV. I'd be playing this game while I was sort of looking after him. So I got fond memories of Tomb Raider, and I quite like this reboot. I quite like the way they portrayed Lara Croft in this game as well. The story's pretty good. They made that movie as well, which pretty much steals the entire plot of this game. That was pretty good as well. Below this, then, we have a Steelbook of Guardians of the Galaxy. This is for my PS5 Guardians of the Galaxy game downstairs, but I keep the Steelbook up here. I actually had the Steelbook for free. That's basically on offer in games, so I thought that'd be pretty cool, and I bought that as well. Now we're going to actually go through the collection, which you can see we've got lined up by here. To start off with, we've got Apex Legends, Bloodhound Edition, and Lifeline Edition. I'm going to mention both of these in the same section, I guess, because they are basically the same game, and you'll probably think it's kind of crazy as well, but I have a physical copy of both of these games. But it's the same game and it's actually a free game. So you're probably thinking I'm a bit silly by doing that, but there's a reason for it. I'm really into Apex. Maybe not so much now, but I have been in recent years. And with the Bloodhound and Lifeline editions, you get special skins and stuff for those characters, which you can't get in any other way apart from having these editions. And also, because I bought them physical, I got them at a pretty good deal on, I think it was eBay or for one of them and Amazon on the other one. And it ended up working out cheaper to get the Bloodhound and Lifeline edition than it would be to buy the in-game coins. So that's why I have both of these. Next up, one of my favourite games of all time. Most people have this game by now, surely. Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection. Revelations is my favourite. Assassin's Creed 2, I have been playing in recent months. The plan is to get the Platinum for Assassin's Creed 2. I'm only like 3 trophies away from it, so I'm hoping I can do that soon. I enjoyed Brotherhood as well. Brotherhood was pretty good. I played these originally on the PS3 when it came out back in the day. But yeah, one of my favourite games of all time. And as we are doing this video, we have a special guest that's just arrived. And there's my cat, Soulless, who is going to co-host with me and help me go through the games. Hopefully he doesn't bite any of the covers, though, because that is very, very naughty of him. And keeping with Assassin's Creed, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm not really a fan that much of the newer Assassin's Creed games, but I think out of all of them, Odyssey is probably my favourite. And I think it's because the characters are quite well done. I really like Cassandra as a character in this game. If you take away the Assassin's Creed title and you just call the game Odyssey, or you call the game, you know, Greek Odyssey or something like that, I think it would make a bit more sense. But because it's got the Assassin's Creed name, it almost holds the game back, in my opinion. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed it. It's a pretty good RPG. They tried to do a lot of the stuff that sort of The Witcher 3 did, with like the dialogue options and stuff, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't exactly work, but still a pretty good game overall. Next up, this is quite a new game in my collection. I only bought this a few weeks ago, and this is Batman, the Arkham Collection. So this is all 3 games. It's Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and you get Arkham Knight. With Arkham Knight, it's a digital code. The other 2 is disc versions of them. And I started playing Arkham Asylum a few weeks ago as well. I did the silly thing of putting it on the hardest difficulty straight away because I want to go for the platinum, and it's easier to get the platinum if you do everything on hard in one playthrough and then go back and do whatever you need to do on easy. And it's really, really difficult. It's quite challenging. Obviously, this game is quite old, so, you know, games are made a bit differently now than they were 10, 15 years ago. But still, pretty good fun. I love Batman. I love superheroes, so had to get that. And this one by here, following it up, is also a Batman game. But this is the Telltale series Batman game. It's actually still in the cover. I haven't actually taken it out yet. It's a brand new copy of the game. I love Telltale Games, which you'll see as I go through this collection. And I personally want to try and platinum all of them. I'll go through, obviously, the rest of the ones that I have and tell you which ones I've got platinum for so far. But yeah, Batman, looking forward to playing that. Next up, we have Bloodborne. This will shock many of you, but I haven't actually played this. I'm not really a fan of the Souls games, if I'm being honest with you. I just don't think it's something I'd enjoy. I probably will play this at some stage just to give it a go. But as you can see from the thing back here, if I can just sort of zoom in a little bit, trying to refocus. Basically, it says not to be sold separately. This came in the bundle for my PlayStation 4. So I had the Uncharted 4 game when it came out new, Bloodborne, and then I had Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. It was basically that was the collection of games you had in the pack. But Bloodborne I haven't actually played yet, but I probably will play it at some stage. Next up, and I bought this a couple of weeks ago as well, and that's Destroy All Humans on PS4. I played the original game of this before it became remastered on PS4 and Xbox One. On the original Xbox back in like 2003 or 4, whenever it was, like 20 years ago now, near enough. And I absolutely adore this game so much, so I had to get it on PS4. This is in my backlog to replay at some stage. Probably within the next 6 months or so I'll play it. Once I finish this one then, I'll get the recently released Destroy All Humans 2 remake, which they've just released on PS5 and Xbox as well. So that's something I'm looking forward to playing. Next up we have Detroit Become Human. And this is a narrative-based game, similar in a sense to the Telltale Games as well. I have played it, but not completed it. I've played the first few chapters. I need to get back into it and play it. I got my save file stuff still intact. It's a PlayStation exclusive. It's pretty good. It's got about 5 or 6 different endings in total. Actually, I think it might have more than that. I might have like 10 or 11 or something. I want to get a platinum for it, but it will take a lot of replaying missions and not missions, replaying different sections of the game and trying to change the branch of the story, I guess. So that'll be quite interesting. The next 4 by here, you can probably tell which ones belong to me and which ones belong to my wife. I'll give you a clue. My wife likes Final Fantasy. So we have Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, we have Final Fantasy Type O HD, and we have Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition. I can't really comment much on Dissidia or Type O, but Royal Edition, I see my wife play this quite a bit, and it looks pretty fun. It's quite a interesting game. It came out a few years ago. I can't really comment too much on them. They're my wife's games and not mine. But I can comment on Far Cry 4, which I love. Again, this is a game that I had in a special edition, basically, of the game. If I just take you around the room quickly, you can see over by here, I have this statue of Pagan Min on an elephant, and it's got a bazooka with him, and it's got some ammunition and stuff. It's basically what the cover is by here, him sitting on the throne with a bunch of weapons and artillery and stuff. I bought the special edition of this game back when it came out, which was quite a long time ago now, like 10 years ago, near enough, I think, at the point of me making this video. I loved it. I think Pagan Min's a pretty cool character, and I can't really say too much more about the game. It's a Far Cry game. They're all very similar these days, but pretty good. I just quite like the fact that they had this Asian, basically this Asian kind of map, which is loosely based on so like Burma and places like that. So that was pretty fun. So you'll notice there's a gap by here. That gap is basically where God of War would live, but it's, like I said, it's currently downstairs and I'm playing it, so that's why it's not there, but I have God of War in my collection. Next up we have Hitman 2. And I recently bought this along with Hitman 3. I bought Hitman 3 on PS5 and I got Hitman 2 by here. I haven't played the Hitman games, but one of my friends tells me they're really good, so I am looking forward to playing these when I finally get the chance. So I have Hitman 2. And I've just realized I put that in the wrong place. There we go. Next up, I can't really comment too much on this. It's Knowledge is Power. I'm not even going to bring it all the way out of the case. I bought this game I thought it'd be good fun to play with a family sort of thing. During lockdown, I bought this a couple of years ago now. And you need to download like something on your phone. You have to like use like a controller. You have to use different things. It just became a bit too much work to set something up, which I basically bought for like £2 or £3. I didn't spend much on it, this game. I haven't played it. I don't really know why it's in my collection, if I'm being honest with you. You know when you buy things and you think to yourself, how did that get there? Well, that is that game for my collection. How did that get there? So that's knowledge is power. Next up, we have Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris. This game is really good. It's more of a strategy game. We can be co-op. We can have up to 4 players, and you play as different characters. Obviously, the main character being Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series, and you go around different like temples in ancient Egypt. But it's more of a face down. Use different like puzzles and stuff, and you know, use different things to solve puzzles and stuff to progress. It's pretty good. So that goes back in there. And finally, for the last one in this top pile now, is a game I finished recently and got the platinum for, and that is Murdered Soul Suspect. This game is pretty fun. It's not the longest of games. I think it took me something like 10 to 12 hours. It might actually be less than 10 hours, I think. It's pretty interesting. It's an interesting story. If you're into like psychedelic thrillers, I guess, but you can't really say it's a thriller because the gameplay is very one-dimensional. You fight one type of enemy in the entire game, and the rest of it is just going around and clicking things. But if you're looking to get a platinum game on a decent story, the story's not too bad. Quite interesting concept. I would recommend it. So that's Murdered Soul Suspect. And that is the final game. If I can get it back in. I have a bit of trouble by here. That's the final game of this top lot of games. But now we're going to move on to the bottom part of this. And this game by here, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 Road to Boruto. Again, you can tell it's not mine. It belongs to my wife, Michaela. One of her games that we keep up here as well. So I can't really comment too much, but apart from that being her game. Next up we have PES 2016. Now you're probably thinking again, how did that get here? Because a random PES game in all my games by here. But there's a reason for it, and that's the front cover. As you can probably tell from various memorabilia and stuff in my room here, that I am, in fact, a football fan. I'm Welsh. I'm a big Welsh football fan, and Euro 2016 was the first time we'd ever qualified for the European Championships. Technically, we qualified in 1976. We got the quarter-final that year, but back then, the tournament was only classified from semi-final onwards. But this was the first time we qualified properly. There's a fantastic tournament where we went all the way to the semi-final in France, where we got knocked out by Portugal, and Portugal went on to win the tournament against France in the final. But Gareth Bale's on the front cover. I basically bought it because it had Bale on the front cover, who's a Welsh footballing hero, so I bought it for that aspect only. I don't know whether this game will become worth anything in years to come in the future when Bale's retired and when, he's in his 50s or 60s or something, or I don't know. But I bought it because of the cover more than anything. PES is pretty good. I used to love PES games back in the day. Obviously, it's changed to be rebranded now to eFootball, which I'm not really keen on, but that's a story for a different day. Next up, we have Shadow of the Colossus. This game I haven't played yet. Looking forward to playing it. My friend James has played it and he loves it. I've seen him stream it a few times, so I will get into this at some point. It's there in my backlog as well, basically. So that's all I can really say. I haven't played it, so I can't comment too much, but it's in my backlog. I'm looking forward to playing it. Next up, you can tell it's a game that's not mine again, and Star Ocean. Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness. I can't really comment too much on it because I don't really know much about Star Ocean, but again, it's my wife's game. Next up, and still wrapped up in its new covering, is the Star Wars Jedi Knight Collection. And it's Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. I played Jedi Knight Jedi Academy on the original Xbox back in like 2004 or 5, something like that. Jedi Knight 2 I never played, but I saw this for cheap in my local game, and I was like, I'm going to pick this up and play it sometime. Because I love Star Wars, and I don't have that many Star Wars games on PlayStation that are physical, but I love the lightsaber combat. Even to this day in 2022, the lightsaber combat in Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, is still pretty good. Obviously, the game looks a bit dated now, but yeah, looking forward to playing it. I love Star Wars, like I said, and I can't wait. Right, the next load of games are going to do in one big swoop by here because we got a load of Telltale games. I said I love the Telltale games. First up, we have Tales from the Borderlands. I got the Platinum for this recently. I absolutely adore the Tales game. It makes me want to get into Borderlands itself, though. I haven't actually played the Borderlands stuff. I know that one of the characters in Tales from the Borderlands appears in one of the recent Borderlands games, but I think it's Borderlands 3. So I might actually get into those games because I don't mind an RPG or a first-person shooter or things like that. Tales of the Borderlands obviously to do with the story and the choices you make and stuff, even though the story pretty much ends up the same way anyway, but it's how you get to that finish line in the Telltale games, which is what makes it fun. The next 4 games we have by here are all recent pickups, and they're all The Walking Dead. We've got The Walking Dead, the complete first season, plus the 400 Days DLC. The Walking Dead Season 2. We have The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, and we have The Walking Dead, the final season by here. So these are the 4 Walking Dead games that I have. Now, I had the opportunity to buy the Walking Dead games in one big collection. I think you get the Michonne game with that as well. But I didn't actually buy it because if you buy it as a collection, it's 1 platinum trophy. If you buy them all separate like I've done, you get different platinums. So you'll get 1 platinum for Season 1, 1 platinum for Season 2, etc. So that's why I have them all like that. Next up, we have Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls Collection game. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but this came with my PlayStation 4 when I had it. I played Heavy Rain on PS3 back in the day. Really good fun, really good story, decent game. If you'd like serial killers and dark stories and that kind of thing, I would recommend it. And Beyond Two Souls, again, good fun. I can't really say much more than that. You have to play these games yourself. Find out for yourself. Play them. They're good fun. That's like the word of the video. It's good fun. It's okay. It's alright. Speaking of, it's alright. The Last of Us Part 2. What an absolute joy. This game is one of the most controversial video games of all time. You have probably like 50% of the people out there love this game to bits, and there's like 50% that absolutely despise this game for choices that happen within the game regarding some of the characters. I won't spoil it, obviously, because you may not have played it yourself. I love this game. I thought graphically it was great. I don't always agree with the choices they make within the story, but I appreciate the story they were trying to tell. So I really won't say much more apart from that. I've played the first one. I'm probably going to get the first one on PS5 because they've done the remake recently. Although I won't be buying it for a good like year or two when the price really comes down and I can get it cheap somewhere. Which is what will happen because I bought this game when it came out new. I played it. I sold it straight away like 2 years ago when it came out because during COVID this game came out. And then I literally had the itch to play it again, and I saw it in like a deal in game where it was like 3 for 2. So it worked out that I paid like a tenner for this game. A tenner for The Last of Us Part 2 on PS4. You can't argue with that. It's a pretty good price. So I'm hoping the same sort of thing will happen with the PS5 version of Part 1, and then I'll get that as well. So I'll have 2 really good, the 2 basically definitive editions of the 2 games basically. But The Last of Us is a series I really enjoy. I'm looking forward to the Netflix show as well. Next up we have The Order 1886. I haven't played this game yet. It's a very short game from what I understand. It's like 8 hours long. A lot of people were disappointed with this. It was like a launch title, I think, for the PS4 originally. And I think it was overhyped with the trailers and stuff. And then when people actually played it, they were like, nah, it's not actually worth like £40, £50, whatever it was at the time. But you can get this game for like £5, £6 in most places now. Which is what I did. I didn't pay much for this game. It's in my backlog to play. I quite like playing short games that don't take that long because I'm very busy with my work and stuff and family and things. I appreciate playing shorter games, so this is why I'm looking forward to playing this and why I like buying games like this. So that's The Order for you. And then we're just gonna put this game by here, and we're just gonna stare at it for a few moments and appreciate what this game is. This game is one of the best games I've ever played in my entire life. I actually played this originally on the PC. I have a gaming PC. And loved it. I bought it because I thought it would be a pretty good game to do streams on and videos on. I didn't actually know anything of The Witcher by that point. And then I got to the point where I couldn't play the game because it was a buggy mess when it was first released, which people seem to forget. But then I went back like a month or 2 later after they patched it, and I fell in love with the game. got into the lore, the story, and everything. And I'm a big fan of the Witcher universe. I've read some of the books since then. I got some of the artwork books downstairs. Yeah, I'm a big nerd. And this basically PS4 game by here, I bought it for my wife. I basically said to her, I have the game on PC, but I want you to enjoy the game as well. I think I was in like CEX or somewhere, and the game was like super cheap, and I was like, I'm just going to pick this up for you because I can make a deal by here, and it's like £3 or £4 for one of the best games of all time. So yeah, The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt is one of the best games. It's up there as one of my favourite games of all time. Top 5 certainly. Next 2 games we have, I'm going to bring them both out together. We'll start with this one. And that is the Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection. I have not played these games at all, as shocking as that may be for some of you. I haven't played them. My first entry into the Uncharted series was in fact Uncharted 4, which is the final game in this collection that was part of my PS4 collection. Little caveat, I did have 2 PS4s. One of them was the original 500 gig one, and then I had a 1TB one later on. The 1TB one is what had Bloodborne, Uncharted 4, and Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls collection. But my original one, it came with Killzone Shadowfall, which I ended up selling. I ended up selling it because I just wasn't interested in that game. If this was me a few years back now, I'd literally keep all my games. It's one of my pet peeves. One of the things I hate about my past self is how many games I've actually sold. This PS4 collection by here would be twice as big if I'd kept all my games. But yeah, Uncharted 4, I loved that game. It was fantastic. And that's basically my gateway drug into the Nathan Drake collection, which I haven't played, but I'm looking forward to playing. I also have Lost Legacy and Uncharted 4 again downstairs on PS5. But that was more down to getting the PS5 version of the game, but also getting Lost Legacy, which I haven't played and I want to play badly. So that is why I have these games. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing them. Uncharted 4 is such a good game, and I just can't wait to continue playing the series. Last 2 games, Until Dawn, which I'll just pop on by here while we talk about it quickly. Until Dawn is basically a lot like a more mature version of Telltale. Group of school kids, think of it like Final Destination films. They're in this like haunted place. There's these, how can I put it? These wrong-uns. These wrong-uns that are going around trying to like murder you, I guess. Yeah, the story's pretty interesting. It's a narrative game. There are options you need to pick and stuff. There's like 7 or 8 characters in total, and you can either like finish the game with no one surviving, or you can like finish the game with everyone surviving, or you can finish the game with various members of the group surviving, depending on your action. So the game has a little bit of replayability. It's a pretty fun game, and yeah, I played this a few years ago. I streamed this on the channel a few years ago, and I'm looking forward to playing it again, because I haven't actually got all of the trophies. I think I've only finished it once, so I need to go back and get whatever trophies I've missed. So that's a little project of mine for the future. And then finally, the very last game in this collection of video games is Watch Dogs 2. I haven't played this yet. Looking forward to playing it. I played the first Watch Dogs game and I really enjoyed it. I know it's Ubisoft. I know it's going to be a typical Ubisoft, you know, RPG, a little bit in the same vein of Assassin's Creed or Far Cry, which I have in this series, but in this collection. But yeah, I didn't pay much for this. I paid quite a cheap amount, really. Most of my video games I never pay like full price for. I don't tend to pre-order video games. I tend to wait for games to come down in price. Wait for like reviews and stuff. Wait for opinions that you trust, sort of thing. Occasionally I will get a pre-order depending on what it is. Like, if that game is like life or death, I must have it now, sort of thing, then maybe I will. But for the majority of my games, they are pre-owned. They are from, you know, CEX Game, Amazon, Currys, Argos, wherever I can get good deals. I always look out for like the cheaper stuff. But yeah, Watch Dogs 2, it is a game that I'm going to play at some stage. As you can tell, I got a big backlog of games, and this is not including my PS5 backlog as well. What I tend to have like 2 games on the go at once. So I'll have like at the moment I got God of War that I'm playing downstairs, which is a PS4 game. So that's my PS4 game that I'm currently playing. Once God of War is done, I'll move on to like Destroy All Humans, or I'll move on to Hitman 2, that sort of thing. And then with the PS5, then I'll have like Lego Star Wars I'll play at the moment, and then after that I'll play something else. That's basically what I do. But anyway, guys, I've been DragonHeart. I hope you've enjoyed my PlayStation 4 collection. Until next time, goodbye.